Howdy folks, I'm Green Gremlin, greedily guarding gaudy gems.
I'm Amber.
And here are more gaudy gems for me to guard. I'm doing so because I'm a little gremlin and Amber's familiar, I guess. So
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You can be my familiar.
let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Buying My Son This Novel? My son is 12 and he has never been a reader. He always preferred video games, television, and toys. But recently, we started watching movies together, once a week, typically on Friday evenings, with a bucket of popcorn. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we watched The Hunger Games, and I watched the movie a long time ago, and my son recommended it because his friend talked about it a lot. He really enjoyed the movie. Well, fast forward to next week, when I asked him if he wanted to watch the sequel, and he said no. He wants to read all the books, as he watches the films, and he mentioned his school library had the first novel and planned on checking it out. Well, the following day, he comes home with no novel and tells me that his librarian said that he could not check the book out because it was out of his reading level. I didn't really understand what my son was talking about. Apparently, it's a color-coded system, and you need to read books in the color and test out of them before advancing to the next color bracket. I called the school and the librarian explained that my son likely wouldn't be able to understand the content of the book yet and recommended that he reads books within his level first. It broke my son's heart and mine too for him. So I took him to Walmart and we bought the box set that included all of the novels. He packed the novel in his backpack and told me that he planned on reading it during break or lunch. So now I'm wondering, am I the jerk for pushing back against the policy at school and letting my son take it to read during breaks? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. While I understand the intent of the policy, I feel like this could really discourage kids from reading. Like, it is important to be aware of what your capabilities are, but I feel like if you let the kid know, oh, hey, you may not be able to read this, you've done your job. You shouldn't stop them from checking it out just because you think they might not. Like, worst case scenario, he tries to read it and he struggles. Struggling with reading is not inherently a bad thing. It's part of how kids learn to grow as readers is by reading things that are too hard. So I think that the librarian is being misguided, and I think OP did a great job by buying his son the book that interested him.
Yeah. Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And I mean, that's really what this kind of boils down to. The school might have good intentions, but this might also discourage people like the son from reading. Like, you shouldn't squelch people's passions when they have them. And there could be a lot of reasons why he's not reading or testing out of reading. And it may not be that his reading level is behind. It may just be that he's bored of books at his reading level and doesn't want to read them, right? And so if you actually, wanted to take away this, then you're basically going to prevent him from reading any books that he would find interesting at all, right?
Well, they made it into a system where, like, you have to read a bunch of boring books and test out before you can move on up. And that disincentivizes kids because they're like, oh, I don't want to take a test to read. Like, who wants to take a test to read?
Yeah.
Like,
also, what level is the dictionary? Like, surely the dictionary has words in it that you wouldn't be able to read. So if you were trying to read the dictionary, would they let you check a dictionary out because it's like too many words that they wouldn't be able to understand?
It's such a weird system. Like, I mean, again, I understand that there are books that are bracketed for certain ages and whatnot, but it just seems very, like, even within an age range, there's a lot of variance in how authors write and in what subject matter they have. And so it just, again, I don't agree with a system where you prohibit kids from reading things you think might be too hard for them.
Yeah.
Like, I tried reading Christine when I was 8, the Stephen King novel, and I actually could understand the content, but oh my goodness, was it boring. I read one page of it and I understood what was going on, but I was like, why is he using this many words? Like, I don't remember the whole thing, but it was like, the sequence of the girl, like, getting on the bus and stuff like that, and it was like, there's too many words here to describe these things.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for wanting to tell my son's teacher that thanking only the moms in class emails excludes involved dads like my husband? Well, am I the jerk, Reddit? Please help me settle a debate between me and my husband. My son's teacher often sends class-wide emails thanking the moms for participating, volunteering, and helping out with school activities. The issue is that my husband is a stay-at-home dad who is very involved with our son's school life. He does the daily drop-offs, signs up for events, and regularly helps out. I work full-time, so he's the one handling most of that side of things. Well, my husband isn't personally offended, but I feel like I should say something. To me, it feels a little outdated and even a little dismissive to only thank the moms, especially since there are dads who are just as involved. Plus, I don't want our son growing up thinking that school volunteering and involvement are only mom things. Am I the jerk for messaging my son's teacher to say that it's outdated and inappropriate to only thank moms instead of including all parents? Or am I overreacting? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think Opie's in the wrong for wanting to point out to the teacher that it's not just moms helping. And maybe the teacher could reframe it to like, thank you to all the parents who helped at blah blah event.
Yeah.
Because I understand if the teacher doesn't want to praise like the parents who aren't pulling their weight. But again, like I'm sure not all the moms in the class are volunteering for things and whatnot. So
because OP isn't.
Yeah. And so it does feel like a very weird thing when you have like a mixed gender group of parents who are helping out to only thank the moms. So I think just very politely asking if, she might consider changing the phrasing to parents to better acknowledge, that there are parents of various genders who are helping out in the classroom. Hopefully the teacher would be amenable to, as long as you frame it in a non-accusatory way.
Yeah.
Because that's like it can be hard when you're called out for something. It can feel very uncomfortable, and so I think the kinder OP phrases the words, the more likely it will be to go over, well with the teacher.
Yeah, or she can just start phrasing it, thanks moms and OP's husband. Calling him out directly every single time. No, I mean, I think you're right here. I think if OP phrases this politely and kindly and non-accusatorily, I think that the teacher is probably going to be fine with it. But sometimes if you come at somebody, then they dig their heels in and aren't going to want to actually, be accommodating.
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Still Wanting to Wear a Halloween Costume That Makes My Boyfriend Uncomfortable? I'm a 22-year-old female and my boyfriend is a 24-year-old male. And we have been together for a little over 2 years and we live together. We both love Halloween and are going to a Halloween bar crawl this weekend. I love making and dressing in costume as I've been a performer my whole life. Making a good, fun costume brings me a lot of joy. We are also going to a friend's Halloween party next weekend, so we decided that we will do a couple's costume for the party and individual costumes for the bar crawl. My boyfriend's suggestion. For my individual costume, I want to do Britney Spears' Slave for You costume from the VMAs when she danced with a snake. I think that's an iconic piece of pop culture, and the outfit is very cute and recognizable. I work 2 jobs, so I don't have much time, but any time this week, I've been working on making my costume. I've only been working on the shorts so far, as they are very specific, and I was able to find a swimsuit top that looks similar to hers, and I'll just have to make some slight changes to it. My boyfriend has been watching me make my shorts, and I've been showing him my progress and how excited I am. I had to put the tops on the table last night as I worked on my shorts so that I could add a little bling to it, but I didn't think that he had noticed. Well, once we were going to bed and I showed him how the tops and shorts looked together, he said, "Babe, that's what you're wearing?" My heart sank. Yeah, that's just a bra. You can't be wearing that. For some context, this is the type of swimsuit that is built like a traditional bra with cups and underwire, but still looks like a swimsuit due to the material and design. I told him that's exactly the type of top that she has for the costume, and that I was trying to make it similar as I could. Well, he was upset and said that it was dental floss, and that his friends and everyone at the bar would think that I looked promiscuous. I tried to explain that this was a common costume that I've seen many times, and because it's literally what she wore on stage. I don't think that people would think that I was trying to be promiscuous or looking for attention. He said that I should be quote-unquote modest, and that I'm not in college anymore, and that no normal adult would wear a costume like that. I graduated 6 months ago. I explained that I don't care what strangers would think of it, and it's Halloween. I would never wear a top like that normally to a bar because I am generally a modest person, but it's a costume, and you'll see many like that. He eventually said do whatever, but that he still didn't understand why I would think that it's okay and it would make him uncomfortable. I told him that if it was that bad, I would just wear my part of the couple's costume, which is also basically just a bra, but he had no issue with that one when I showed him. He knows that I'm upset, though, because I've been working hard on that costume all week, and I've been looking forward to it. Am I the jerk for still wanting to wear it, even though it makes him uncomfortable? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, this is something you've been pouring a lot of time and energy into, and that is really important to you. And he couldn't be bothered to look up the costume, what the costume was beforehand. It's not like Britney Spears is known as like the queen of modesty or anything, so it seems a little strange that he would just all of a sudden be like, "Oh, that's what you're wearing?"
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was really strange for him to put this kind of like restriction on OP for one, and then to be like, oh, well, you should be more modest, and that no respectable woman would wear something like this, right? And I mean, I think that was very rude for him to be like this, right? And apparently he doesn't have a problem with the couple's costume, which is just as skimpy. So it's more like he isn't going to be part of the couple costume, so he can't lay claim on her or something like that. That's kind of how I feel like he's acting, right?
It does feel a bit like the laying claim thing, and his whole, "Oh, well, you're not in college anymore." Like, there are lots of people of various ages who wear, costumes of various levels of modesty, and like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like there's an age threshold or a graduation threshold that as soon as you graduate college, you are now have to wear like a nun outfit everywhere.
Yeah. So I think he's just squarely in the wrong here, and that OP should be able to wear what they want. But again, he can break up with her if he wants to. And if he's going to be this controlling, then maybe it's time to reevaluate the relationship anyways. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Threatening to Call the RA on my roommate when she brought a cat into the place? I'm a 21-year-old female, and I'm currently in my junior year of college. For the upperclassmen, my university has a couple of options. One being the kind of duplex hometown type of situation. There's 2 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms that house 2 students apiece, and then a common area with a full kitchen. It's like a little more expensive, but it's just better than living in the dorms and cheaper than living off of campus. Anyways, I have 3 new roommates this year, Jen, Veronica, and Opal, all around my age or a little older, all fake names. I share a room with Opal, with Jen and Veronica in the other. I get along well with Jen and Opal. Veronica and I aren't enemies, but we're also not super close. I can tell that she doesn't necessarily like me, but she's never been mean or anything, so I let it go. Well, in my city, there's a large stray cat problem. Even when I was living in the regular dorms, it wasn't unusual to be walking back from class and to find a few just hanging out. I don't like cats, I'm not allergic, I'm just not a fan. Veronica, on the other hand, she has a bleeding heart for animals. She apparently has a reputation around campus for bringing the strays that she can catch to local clinics that will spay and neuter and give vaccinations for free. She also tries to find no-kill shelters or people willing to foster and adopt any cats who come willingly. We have a small yard behind our duplex, and I know that she leaves food for them. This is annoying to me, but it's not against the housing rules. The only thing that housing doesn't allow is the animals of any kind inside, unless it's a registered service animal. Until recently, Veronica didn't break the rule, so I bit my tongue. I know that she's not the only student to do this, so the cats do have regular food provided throughout the year and won't go without if Veronica isn't there. Well, yesterday I'm watching television in the common area when Veronica walks in. She leaves the door propped open and I remind her to close it. She says that she's going to feed the babies, aka the cats, whatever. Then I see a cat walk in. I immediately get up and I start saying, shoo, shoo. Veronica rolls her eyes and tells me to relax. That is Winston. He's one of the cats that she's taken to be neutered and vaccinated. He's harmless. I say I don't want him in here. She says that it's going to be 2 seconds until she can get the cat food. And I tell her to either take the cat out or I'm calling the RA and reporting her for bringing cats in here. She blinked a couple of times, muttered an apology, and went outside with Winston. When she came back in, she was thankfully alone and just went to her room. She hasn't spoken to me since. Jen and Opal have told me that I majorly overreacted to the situation. They say that since Veronica wasn't trying to keep Winston here, it was just a couple of seconds until she got the food, etc. It didn't matter. They told me that it's my problem and that I need to just get over it. So am I being the jerk here? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Opie's being a bit of a jerk here. That does seem like a gross overreaction to a cat just walking into the house. Now, if Veronica was trying to move Winston into the house, that would be a problem, and I could understand why OP would want to involve the RA. But just having a cat walk into the house, jeopardizing Veronica's housing because, OP's upset, I don't think that was the right course of action. I understand OP wanting the cat back out, but there were ways, like the cat was going to be out in 2 seconds anyway. And so I feel like going straight to, I'm going to call the RA and jeopardize your housing was a major overreach.
Yeah, I do think that it was an overreach as well. I think that OP really did overreact. I can understand their concern though. And I think that, like, sure, no one wants to have their housing put at risk. Panic like that can cause people to sometimes act a little bit harshly. And I think that maybe OP let their emotions kind of get the best of them in this particular case.
I don't know. My read on it is that OP just doesn't like the cat and it wasn't actually afraid of having their housing jeopardized. They're just using that as an excuse.
Yeah, and that could be the case. If that is the case, then I think that OP is squarely in the wrong. I think that OP would, be really rude to threaten Veronica with this. So I don't know why they did threaten Veronica. It just seems like poor form to do that. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Future villain origin story.
Oh, it's perfect, Wheel. Bravo. I love it.
Amber's like, yes, all of this, Wheel. You did a good job. Good Wheel. You get fed this week. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the ghost cross the road?
Well, the ghost crossed the road because they were double-crossed back.
To get to the other side.
Yeah.
And it's Haunted Refrigerator Night and also National Candy Corn Day.
So go check your refrigerator and make sure it's not haunted with all the old stale food that you have left in the back of it. So that might have developed some kind of spirit, and that might not be very good. Like the Garfield episode.
Oh, yes. It came from like blah, blah. It was like this long string of things. I can't remember the title as a whole, but it came from the refrigerator behind the mayonnaise next to the ketchup and to the left of the coleslaw, maybe?
Something like that. Something like that. It's pretty impressive that you even remember that title. And I have the special guest tea, some matcha. Oh, and Amber has a reminder for us.
Yes, so just a quick reminder that Brian and I are doing a fundraiser for our Partners for Peace over on Instagram. It's on both of our profiles, and so it goes through the end of the month, though, so through tomorrow. And I also am donating 10% of my royalties this month and last month to Partners for Peace. So if you've been wanting to read my book, now is a great time to pick up a copy and also help support a great cause.
Yeah.
And you can, if you don't have the funds personally, you can always ask your library to pick up a copy. I've had a number of libraries order this month, and those sales count the same as any other sales. So.
Yeah. So you can read it for free.
Yes. And I'm actually working on a guide of which libraries have print copies for free. So sometime next month I should have that up. But one of the libraries that does is Buck Memorial Library in Bucksport, where I got this cool snap bracelet from.
Yes, we're very retro here.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on pets.
In a roommate situation, pets need to be agreed upon by all parties, but it's also not reasonable to threaten to get your roommate expelled or evicted because a cat walks into your house for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!